One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back. So I'm not one to tell anybody what to do, but I'm going to tell you what to do right now. Just real quick.
Do it.
Quick, like
What you can tell me to do?
I need you, if you're one of those people that like fast forwards past the commercials, I need you to just stop and don't do that right now.
Slow down.
I have to tell you about something. So we have a new sponsor.
What?
And this sponsor is Venue Llama.
Venue Llama.
And you're asking yourself, what's Venue Llama, Aaron? Well, let me tell you what Venue Llama is. Have you ever gone out of town to go to a show and you didn't know about the venue? You wondered about the security. You wondered what the parking was like. You wondered what the bathrooms were like, or if there was good food around there and what the hotels were like, and there was nobody to ask? Now there is. You can go to Venue Llama and find out all the lowdown, all the skinny on all the venues that you go to all the time, and all the stuff that we want to know, like, am I going to have a hard time getting through security? That's usually my number one concern when going to a show. What's the food like?
What's the shortest entrance to go through?
So that stuff. It's an online, it's an online resource that provides live music fans with the insider venue info that you need. A place where fans can quickly rate venues and share various tips and intel about those venues. VenueLlama.com launches in late spring, but they're currently doing a sneak peek for our listeners. Hey, check that out. So check it out. You can go to VenueLlama.com/NSR and sign up and start putting your intel into the Llama base now. And they're running, what do you call it?
Beta.
No, contest.
Okay.
Right now. If you get in there before March 15th, you will be automatically entered into a raffle to win one grand prize of a pair of tickets to the show of your pick from Venue Llama featured tours like Dead & Company, Fish, Widespread Panic, Billy Strings, and Goose. You heard that right. Go to VenueLlama.com/NSR, register, and you could win a pair of tickets.
And also go over to their on the social media. They already have at Venue Llama on Instagram, on Facebook, and they already have a dope YouTube page with a lot of videos downloaded already.
And then 5 runner-ups are going to receive Venue Llama gear. Venue Llama is currently compiling its Llama base with as much helpful information as possible on venues for, like we said, Dead & Company, Fish, Widespread Panic, Billy Strings, Goose. So go to VenueLlama.com/NSR before the 15th, sign up, and you're going to be automatically entered into that raffle. That's not even a word.
You were going to say like refuge.
Refuge. Don't get entered into the refuge.
It's not like that. It's cool.
It's
cool.
way cooler.
No, VenueLlama.com.
There it is. /NSR. Our family over at Fire on the Mountain is doing everything they can to put the best, most delicious, amazing food in your belly that they possibly can. 3 locations here in Portland, 2 locations in Denver. And let me tell you what, it's almost salad season, and there's going to be some amazing new, delicious, delectable, and delightful salads from our family over at Fire on the Mountain.
Yeah, and at any moment, I'm sure there's special sauces for all the locations, and their specials will be hitting.
That's right. And if you do not live in Portland or Denver, you can go to
portlandwings.com
and order yourself some sauces to go straight to your door anywhere around the world.
And they also have really dope merch too. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't have a Fire on the Mountain where you're at. You can order the merch, have some sauce, sit there in your little cozy hoodie or t-shirt or whatever, make yourself some chicken wings. It'll be a whole thing, and it's amazing. And let me tell you what, there's nothing better than having the Grateful Dead family cook you dinner.
And if that's not enough for you, they also have Fire on the Mountain Brewing, where you can get your own beers brewed by them.
So you can go to FOTMPDX on Instagram or at FOTM Denver, and you can go to portlandwings.com to see what we're talking about, or just go over there if you're here in Portland or Denver, man. Go get yourself something to eat cooked by your family.
Get a salad.
There's a lot going on in the Grateful Dead universe all the time,
Yeah,
but
there is.
this time of year, the most important thing that's going on is Skull and Roses down in Ventura, April 19th through the 23rd. We're talking 2 performances by Phil Lesh.
And friends.
And friends. You can't forget the friends.
That's right.
Oteil,
Friends are important.
Dark Star Orchestra.
Leftover Salmon.
Leftover
Sages
Salmon.
and Spirits.
Melvin Seals and JGB.
Oh, and the Latin Dead.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget the Latin Dead.
Boombox.
Oh, my God. Dogs in a
Circles
Pile.
Around the Sun, Jerry's Middle Finger, Stu Allen and Mars Hotel.
Yeah, if that's not enough to make you want to jump on the plane and head to Ventura, I don't know what is.
So check this out. Go to skullandroses.com. Get yourself some passes. Come hang out with us. We're going to be down there. Come see 4.5 or 5 days on the beach with Grateful Dead music, with the Grateful Dead family, the best music on the planet, the best lot scene on the planet. This is a whole thing. If you were one of those people that sadly missed Grateful Dead shows in the 80s and 90s, this is the closest you are going to get nowadays. I promise you, it feels just like being at a show back in the day.
It also gives you exploration into a lot of the stuff because the Beam Brothers are going to be performing this year.
Oh, that's right.
And they're going to have the Beam,
Wow.
hopefully they do, in the parking lot like they did last year at their setup where you can actually go see them.
And it's this year's an even like bigger shakedown, and they're gonna have places to like cool off and hang out there. Lots of great merch out there, a lot of good stuff going on. And you know what? You just got to come down, hang out with us on the beach. Go to skullandroses.com, grab yourself some passes, come party with the family.
Yeah, go over to the Wall of News and check out what's happening.
Wallofnews.love.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Oteil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
/NSR.
That's right. You gotta throw in the / all the time.
Turbo TZ.
Turbo. No, we can't talk about that now because they're not a sponsor.
We're not giving them their.
No.
We're gracing with our.
Welcome, everybody. Hey now, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron.
This is Mel.
This is Apple.
I'm Simon. You heard me once.
Oh shit! It's like that.
Yeah.
You heard me once.
He's back for a return engagement.
Repeat.
That's right. This week on the show is extremely special. We have 2 members of Grateful Dead royalty on the show with us this week, Bob Bralove and Tom Constanten. They are known otherwise as Dos
Hermanos.
And they are creating
Dos Hermanos.
magic, actual magic with keyboards and other instrumentation that is
their throats
and their throats
for singing, not for anything else.
Well, that Gyoto Monk.
That's a whole thing that we got to get into.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to just say Gyoto Monk this episode.
That's called an Easter egg.
Yep.
I'll give you something for free too. Here, the magic is real. Fireballs. Lightning. They can control water and stuff like that. So it's really cool to watch you guys. So yeah, tune in.
You know, actually, Simon, you say that tongue in cheek. Yeah. It's all true.
I mean, like fireballs, like
no,
from their
I'm
keyboard.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
all that happens. It's real.
It's real.
No, it's as real as you make it.
But we joke. But
and I was going to say here, there's a nice little blurb on them right here that kind of sums it up. That Dos Hermanos' new album, Persistence of Memory, is out now. It is the latest documentation of the always fascinating ongoing encounter of 2 remarkable musical minds. Though both came to prominence associated with the Grateful Dead, Tom is keyboard player from 68 to 70, and Bob is engineer, programmer, and occasional performer from 87 to 95. This music is dead-like, only in its wide-open, wholly improvisational exploration of a vast musical universe with only one rule. Does the result, said Bralove, feel like a dose?
Okay. And here's the thing. This is like episode 300 and whatever. We've done a lot of interviews on No Simple Road. This was one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? This interview shut the 3 of us up more than any other interview that we have ever done
on its own.
Well, this is an Easter egg for some of our friends out there. This interview felt like the shut the fuck up gun on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, this was like one of those times when we would say something or ask a question and the answer was so profound that I was left stumped and dumbfounded. And you have to understand that the individuals that we're dealing with are some of the original prankster in energy folks. This is Grateful Dead, the real Grateful Dead that we've got here. These are people that were and are part of that energy coming out into the world and assisted it and created it and helped it and formed it. And are
still doing it in their own. They broke off. Well, not necessarily broke off, but like they evolved into the 2 of them and to create it's sound, but in the most interesting and profound way.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Stumpfounded.
Yeah.
Stumpfounded is a perfect. That's the perfect name for this episode. Stumpfounded.
They're in the business of stumpfounding.
Well,
They
and
are.
you'll hear it from the very, not to ruin any of the conversation, but from the moment TC comes on, Aaron asks him what's up, and he says the opposite of down.
And it's on from that moment. We have left
Stupefied.
the building. We have stupefied.
Okay, so I want to read some of my little notes that I usually take on my in my journal.
Okay.
And so this one, it says freedom from categorization equals inspiration.
That's true.
100% improve 100% of the time. Music organizes itself.
Wow. Okay.
That's a good one.
You have to stay out of the line of your own magic. Music is spirituality.
Okay.
Rapid means of transport to the eternal.
And if you want a little bit of water to go down with these pills, take a look at the painting by Salvador Dali, The Persistence of Memory as well. And that'll kind of give you a vibe as to what you're about to feel.
That's,
listen to that.
that's good,
So,
Simon.
That's
Take a
good.
look
Like
at that
the
painting.
pairing the music with the art, and then with these little one-liners.
think on that painting.
And then it says dope mic drop every word.
Yeah, that also sums this one up. So I don't want to take up a whole bunch of your time here in the beginning trying to explain to you what you're about to hear. We're just going to let you hear it, and then you can judge for yourself if
the
you're
5-hour breakdown will come after.
Yeah.
But if you're tapping your watch on a podcast, this podcast, then maybe it's not.
Yeah,
maybe it's not the right
that's
fit.
not happening. But here's the thing. We got to do the business. So let's do the business. Follow No Simple Road on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at No Simple Road. Go to www.nosimpleroad.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Get yourself some merch. See where we're going to be so you can come hang out with us. Do all the No Simple Road stuff. That's fun. You love it. We know you do. Anyway,
We
what
love
else?
it.
What else am I looking for?
Get a
Patreon.com.
salad.
Patreon is one of the most important things.
And it's been popping.
Yeah, and Patreon is where you can go over there and contribute to keeping the wheels inflated, the gas in the tank, keep us going, and helping contribute monetarily to help us do what we do, because everything costs.
And here's the thing. Producer Corey has revamped our Patreon so that our Patreon subscribers are getting their money's worth, man.
And some of the content you can expect is deeper interviews with me, Aaron, and Apple, and little side road interviews that are some people that are in the industry that maybe we wouldn't have had time to bring on to No Simple Road, but now we can do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me and Corey did one with Grateful Brothers, with Zach from Grateful Brothers, which was amazing. And I mean, it's kind of like we rely. Everybody knows there's 52 weeks in a year, so that's 52 releases. So we're starting to do this so we can help highlight other artists and get more content for you guys.
Yeah, so that content is available for our patrons only. So you can go over there, sign up for like $1 a month, and you're getting all the extra content. Plus, you get these episodes ad free and early. So check that out. Go to patreon.com/no.
how about going over to 971-808-1524 and telling us a joke or a recipe or a story or a show review or your plans for the summer or some exciting news. That is our tepid line. You can call it up, 971-808-1524, and say whatever you want to say. Hang up and feel good about yourself, because we'll play it and then it'll be fun.
Then if you want to do something that doesn't cost anything, you go over Apple Podcasts and you can hit that 5 stars, and please go beyond that and give us a review, which guess what, guys?
What?
We have 2 new reviews.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
While Aaron and Mel were in Mexico having fun, we did get a February review.
Fuck yeah.
And then we just got one on Sunday.
Lay it on me, man.
So
I'm really excited.
I'll let you here. I'll do the February one. I'll let you do because the other one's longer. You can do the long one.
Okay.
This is from Scott
Thank you, Scott.
_CT, which maybe from Connecticut. 5 stars. Great pod. Always a fun hang with positive and uplifting content. Keep on rocking, guys.
Fuck yeah, Scott. Thank you. Thank you so much for being the one that came through for us for February.
For February, yep.
That's freaking sweet.
Are you ready, Mel?
I just got it. I just got ready.
Okay, come on,
so
here we
this
go.
one is Sunday. Simon B77.
Whoa.
Hello from Illinois. Been listening for a little over a month now, and I'm glad I found this crew. interesting episodes, and new artist spotlight. I mean, what a great resource for finding new music. I've been stuck in 60s to 90s and trying to find new relevant jams and have had some luck on my own, but glad I have Aaron, Mel, and Apple. Part of what they do is similar to the record store manager who would say, hey, you got to listen to this.
Hell yeah.
Episodes flow well, and because my interests lie in the same space as theirs, it's an enjoyable listen and great fit for what I want to be doing with my time. Oh,
Damn.
that means a lot, Simon B77. Like something that you want to be doing with your time is listening to us. That's legit. And
So here's the deal.
Wait a minute. We put a lot of good love into the air, not only good content and good people, but like we want to highlight like what's good. Everybody knows about the bad shit in life. When you put your headphones on with us, we just want you to know about the good shit that we know about. We know about other stuff too, but like we're trying to give you the little buttercream frosting.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So that's what I'm saying.
Get a respite from the clutches of capitalism.
Exactly.
That's right. There you go. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, so there you go. So thanks for recognizing that, Simon.
So here's the thing
B77.
with the reviews. It's really awesome that you guys do that for us, and we really appreciate it. But what that ultimately does is helps other people find out about the podcast by algorithmically AIing us somehow in Apple world. So thank you for doing that for us. The most important thing you can do for the show, though, is tell somebody that you know that doesn't know about the show, When somebody that you love tells you about something cool, that is the most important and coolest way to find out about stuff.
I want to expand on that because even if your friend does know about No Simple Road, tell them about the dopest interview that you just heard from them. The reason why is because I realize that even people that know about our show forget or they haven't caught up. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, we interviewed, LP. And they're like, what? LPGOB? I love LP. I didn't know you got. So you can reintroduce them to your favorite podcast about something that's current or that you listen to that may ring their bell or make them feel good.
And that's what it's all about, making each other feel good and being part of the family. And that's what this interview is. This is the Grateful Dead family. This was a huge honor for us. Thank you, Dennis McNally, for sending this our way.
Yes,
it was an honor and a lot of fun. So I also want to say thank you to Bob and Tom for coming on No Simple Road and doing what you do in life and making some incredible, crazy sounds with us.
Yeah, that's why I said for creating this music, I encourage you. This is one that either you need to be in a room with surround sound or even easier, put on your earphones to take all of this in because it is just an amazing conversation, which leads, as they say, to arguments and debates. And it is so cool. Yep. Such a journey.
This is not a one earphone listen.
No, this isn't what you listen to at work while you're got
this
one
is like
headphone
when
in.
you buy the top shelf whiskey and they give you like maybe 2 inches worth. You don't swig that. You sip that. You get it on your lips and
I would highly say I actually took a cannabis salt bath.
And
with
listen to
this
this
on and wow.
I smoked some Sunset Lake CBD right before and it was
right on. All right. So here's the deal, everybody. This is a huge honor for No Simple Road. Having actual members of the Grateful Dead on a podcast that started centered on the Grateful Dead is a really big deal for us. And I hope that you all enjoy this conversation. This is our Stumpfounded interview with Dos Hermanos. So let's do this. All right, you ready? Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Dos Hermanos. connected. All right.
This is exciting.
I know. We should have a drum
I know
roll. I don't have it queued up.
There's. Oops. Oh, shit. TC. All right.
All right, here we go.
What's up, man?
The opposite of down.
Very, very true. Tom, I'm Aaron. How you doing, man?
Yes, indeed.
Good to meet you.
Tom, I'm Mel. Nice to meet you.
You too.
And I'm the last member here, Apple. Thank you, both of you gentlemen, for joining us today. Like Aaron said, third time's a charm. We've been able to prepare a lot. We're looking very forward to this conversation. Thank you.
I have to, before we start, offer you both my apologies for last week. That was wholly, totally, and completely on me. So sorry about that.
Even if it was on us, we wouldn't take it back.
Shit happens when it's supposed to happen.
And you guys know he got an earful from Dennis.
Tom, you're from Vegas, man?
I grew up there. Yeah, that's where I got this accent.
Yeah, it's funny because I can't hear it. I'm from the same place.
Oh, it's grown.
I love what you said. You said green felt and neon make you feel all warm and fuzzy like you're at home.
Oh, it really does. And the sound of the slot machines and the blinking lights. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, 30 years I lived there. We moved. Is it 6 years now?
Yeah, June 2016. We got out of Vegas and moved up here to Portland, Oregon.
Well. Hey, I'm in New Mexico now. And,
Oh, cool.
Oh, right on.
we moved there in '54. It was kind of different then.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say it was a little more, or a lot smaller and a lot more ritzy.
It was kind of glitzy, but it also had a lot of the Wild West flavor.
Yeah. That was kind of gone when I was there.
Yeah, now it's all neon, metro. It's kind of like one of those dreams where you're lost.
Yeah. Shit. You know, the two of you, I gotta say, like, this podcast started in 2017 with just me by myself, out on our front porch with a little USB snowball microphone, and I just told the story of going to my first Grateful Dead show, and from there to sitting here right now with the two of you is a little bit surreal for me. I got to be honest. It's crazy what life brings our way, and I'm just really grateful to have you guys here with us today. It's really, you both are Grateful Dead royalty as far as I'm concerned. So thanks for joining us, guys.
We'll get to expressionism and impressionism later, but I'll go with surreal.
Yeah. It's surreality is a kind of where we like to live, right? I mean, with what you guys do, that's kind of the mission statement, isn't it?
Always a good starting place.
Yeah. Can you explain to the people that are listening a little bit about Dos Hermanos?
Your turn, Bob.
My turn. Well, I'll quote Tom.
Oh, shit.
Tom always says we are a duo that strives for 100% improvisation 100% of the time.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. So none of it is written beforehand. You guys just sit down together and go for it.
We find it out there. Yes, we dive into the deep end of the pool, and we just go with the good as we find. First, we were amazed there was anything to find.
I know the feeling. I do.
Anybody's first thought is, why, that's too libertine for me. Too much freedom, too much this or that. But the fact is, musical ideas organize themselves. They tend to array themselves in patterns that make sense. And we go out there improvisatorily, maybe with the tiniest husk of an idea. It could be, let's do a bar talk.
Okay.
Or if Stravinsky met Nino Rota. Any sort of combination like that. And we would naturally have different. And a lot of times it was the interaction of those different ideas where the action came. The the tsimmus of what made the piece interesting.
Okay.
Wow.
So, I mean,
In the early days, we used to sit backstage,
that was where I was going to ask. Yep. Perfect.
indulge.
Yeah.
And when we started to feel a little bit of lift, we'd sit down and write a set. And the set would be whatever we decided to make up in words that very moment. So let's start off with playing Cartoon Spy. And then let's go into Smoky Blue Lamplight. And then we'll find a place to, do any number of things, Moon Puddles, that one that we did with Steve Kimmock. Just he asked what is about, what's going on about this tune? Because Steve was sitting in, I think it was a Fillmore, was it?
Yeah, it was.
And we said, well, just play a Smoky Blue, just play Moon Puddles. You know what those are.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. And boom.
And I'm sure Kimmock was all over it immediately.
He's of a like mind.
Yeah.
So so it was really wonderful. Just have fun.
Do you ever find when you come up with an idea like that, hey, let's play Moo Puddles or, Smoky Blue Lamplight, do you ever find yourself in the midst of playing it and you go, that's it. That I did it. I nailed it.
If we don't have that feeling, there's no point continuing.
Oh,
Good point.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
To give you some background as to our methods, it's a little bit like a Grateful Dead improvisation where they decide on the fly to segue from one tune to another. There's the question of how do we get there? And that's pretty much all we do is getting there.
Okay.
That is the thing, is having fun getting there, right? I mean, isn't that the goal?
Story of life.
Yeah. And Tom, I mean, we have to stop and give you a measure of thanks for helping to start and be part of one of the greatest rock and roll bands that's ever been. Man, I mean, let's call it like it is.
I just happened to be there, and the fire was already going. I just blew on it. Flamed a little here and there.
I mean, all these years later, the thing that gets me about it is like, I imagine being there and being part of that. And like you say, we're just doing it to have fun. We're experiencing life and we're making music. Do you ever think that it would endure this long?
I don't know if anybody thinks that far ahead.
Right. Okay.
A day to day is a surprise. Jerry Garcia even said how he was bewildered at the effect the music was having. He would speak self-deprecatingly about this thing we did on stage. And he was amazed as anyone how it took off.
Wow.
And I see that with the greatest musicians and authors and artists, is that a lot of times they can't even experience what the viewer or the consumer or the listener is experiencing. They're somewhere else.
You have to stay out of the line of fire of your own magic,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I guess that's true. Wow. Because then you would just be floored and speechless all the time.
The experience is very different for the perpetrator and the appreciator.
Right.
And it's necessarily so.
Wow.
Yes, and when we start playing together, we know we're seeing this thing from completely different viewpoints.
Right.
And often for me, sometimes, I'll feel like, oh, you need to go in this direction. I'll play Tom in a certain direction. I'll try to force his hand in that direction. And he'll say, no, I don't, and play me back the other way. And I'll be, early on, I would be like, oh, man, this never quite locked where I thought it was going to lock. And that was frustrating. Then you listen back to the tapes, and the argument itself is the most magical part of the
whoa.
So you have to let go of where you think you're going and stay present in where you are. And where
Phil and Jerry had some onstage arguments, for sure, some of which are the stuff of legend.
Well, when did you two realize, or how soon in your relationship did you realize that your arguments were beautiful?
We disagree on that.
You're still figuring it out? Is that it?
No, we disagree, and we like it there.
That makes for the magic. I've been reading some of the stuff about the new album. I mean, one of you had said it's an improvisational conversation with arguments and debate happening in there, and you hear it. Like you said, you're trying to push each other one way or another, and it really comes through when you listen to it. You hear where it gets kind of hectic, but then all of a sudden it turns into this beautiful thing that nobody, and it sounds like nobody, including you guys, could expect what is going to happen. I mean, true improv.
There's an old saying, when two people think exactly alike, chances are good one is doing the thing that's for both of them.
Shit.
And so we are not that.
So would you say that the two of you are diametrically opposed creative forces?
No, more like 45 degrees.
Okay. All right.
I would say it's fluid. To even to formulate it that way doesn't make sense with us. I mean, sometimes we're right in a pocket that's, could only be performed with as an improvisation with just this sensitivity and direction with each other. And then sometimes it's just a bundle of energy that is hard to control, and you have to see where it's going to go because something is in there. The energy, you feel the energy, and so I wouldn't even say that there's a number. Constantly fluid. That's what makes it a real conversation,
right? And it takes a particular kind of person to dig into what you two do. I was always the one at shows that was waiting for drums in space. That was my favorite part of the show. Like when Infrared Roses came out, that got played out over and over and over and over again. And, and it's a certain headspace that affords somebody. And I'm curious, Bob, with you, that became your home very quick. That's where you work and what you did. Have you always been somebody that's on the edge like that likes to dig into the ethereal and the strange?
Well, it's not an edge for me.
Dang.
So I would say no. I've never been like that.
Okay. Wow. You know what? Okay, that's fair.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's for me and Tom, coming from the 20th century compositional world, the uniqueness of sound and the development since the 1950s through the 1960s that just sort of revolutionized, for lack of a better word, classical contemporary composition, is all about this aesthetic. And so I saw that place that the Grateful Dead could go. And it was perhaps the first time that there was a popular kind of band energy that could go that place, and songs and country and blues and ballophones and everything.
Right.
So that kind of freedom from categorization was a huge inspiration for me.
Okay.
It led me to Infrared Roses and Picasso Moon and Way to Go Home. And, I'm comfortable in all those spaces, I don't think of that as anything but music.
As it should be. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't, and I think most of the great artists that I've had a chance to work with kind of see it the same way. You know, they may be a little more blues influenced, or they may be a little more this, but you know, something that strikes your fancy. It's like, oh, wow, that's something to listen to. What is that? What is that feeling that I get, and how do I create it?
Okay, that makes sense. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Like, it's almost like remembering a dream or trying to stop a sneeze. To be able to describe the magic in words, because I don't think in modern language we have the terms to describe what that is. It doesn't exist. But I think what we do have is frequency and sound and rhythm and meter, and those things can be put together in such a way as to help to illustrate what that actually is. And I know for myself that when I listen to what you two are doing specifically, it immediately takes me to that place. It's not like I got to wait on the, in the waiting room and then maybe the doctor will be in an hour to see me. It's immediate. I'm there. And is that kind of the goal, is to illustrate that place, or is this just what's happening?
Both. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you remember the map in Winnie the Pooh of the 100-Acre Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Piglet's house, here's Eeyore's gloomy place, here's Owl, which he always rearranged the letters. There are these different places, and we've got to know them right comfortably now, and we go to them at will. Some of them are on the CD. Some of the ones on the CD are brand new places. It's a 100-Acre Wood map going on 1,000-acre.
Wow. So how could you possibly play the same? Yeah. So like if you're doing a tour, say for the album, how do you play to that if it's 100% improv 100% of the time?
We don't even try.
Don't even try it. You're just showing up to play.
Sometimes we will engage the audience. I have a thing I've been doing where I have them come up with a title, and then we play that.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, you're taking sound and musicianship to an entire different category or level or place.
So it reminds me of a description of an American studying African music. He was out in the bush one day, and the master's drummer was showing him a simple pattern. Then suddenly the master drummer went into this elaborate, like Elvin Jones and Keith Moon put together kind of pattern. And the guy his mind was blowing. He said, "Are you expecting me to play that? You can't possibly think." And then the master went back to the other pattern as if nothing happened. Well, about 5 minutes later, his neighbor came back with a cold bottle of beer that he'd asked for with the talking drums.
Oh, shit.
So there's an integration of culture, of music, of language. And that's a bit what we're touching on. And I think what your question is asking about.
So does any of this exist without psychedelics?
Sure. It does now. The psychedelics are helpful in finding the places.
Okay. That's what I mean.
They're helpful in finding more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also the 100-Acre Wood, map of 1,000 acres.
It unfolds the map.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. It's it really is fascinating to me though, that like whenever we have discussions about improvisational music or especially the Grateful Dead, the conversation always turns to spirituality and music. And I wonder what I'd like to hear both of your answers is like, what do you think the reason that a rock and roll band like the Grateful Dead that does exploratory 25-minute drums and space sections in the middle of their shows, why is it that people find that synonymous with spirituality a lot of the time, or people are finding spirituality through that?
Well, music is spirituality. It doesn't matter what form. When ultimately, I think all musicians have a cosmology in which they experience the universe as vibration. So anything that increases the vibration is a spiritual act.
Oh shit. Okay. Wow.
So when we're creating music, we're participating in that vibratory dance.
I believe that,
I would agree.
And especially this became a very real thing for me as I found a vocal style, because that came from the Gyoto Monks, where I sort of found that vibration in that environment. And then I thought it was really cute. I could imitate the monks we did 3 shows at Shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
Monks, and then 2 more I could imitate the monks, and everybody would sort of say, hey, Bob can imitate the monks. And then I said, oh, Buddhism has crossed my path like that, and I think it's cute.
Oh.
And so I spent this next 6 months walking through Golden Gate Park with my dogs every morning, smoking a fat spliff, a cup of coffee, and I just looked for resonant frequencies in my body that I could trigger with my throat, with my voice. So I wasn't thinking of singing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't imagining anything but a bell that rang louder. Where could I make my voice move through my body and feel like the vibration increased? And then one day, playing with the maestro at Wetlands, I turned to him and said, follow me. And I grabbed a microphone and started chanting. And all of a sudden, he performed this cosmic dance of keyboards around my vocal drones and things like these harmonic things that were popping out. And I was amazed how he could just sort of dance around this beast of a vocal that I was down. And at the end, and it was a huge risk, and we at the end of the piece where we decided to conclude, there was this big pause, like somebody had just put the audience on pause. And I go, oh my goodness, I have really gone too far.
Oh no.
Came out of the audience. And I knew, it was okay, pulled it off. So for me, all of that, and Tom is a natural cosmology viewer. So I'm a bit of the guy with the microscope and the technical stuff, and trying to make sure it's all working, and I get a little too close to it, and Tom will always pull me back up to a good moonshot view of oh, that's right.
Okay. So it seems like the relationship has a nice simpatico there, where
Symbiosis.
Yeah.
It's a simpatico symbiosis, symbolically speaking.
Is it situational?
That too. Serendipitously.
I'm symphonic.
Tom, I'd love to hear your answer to that question about why do you think that, people are finding spirituality inside the world of the Grateful Dead and the Grateful Dead's music and what you guys do?
It's a natural connection. In some parts of the world, it's a distinction that isn't even made. John Cage quoted Ramakrishna as saying that music is a rapid means of transport to the eternal. and the connection is so it's so tight, and it goes back so far. I would point out Varnamala, the Hindu garland of letters, outlines a one-to-one correspondence between the letters of the Hindu alphabet, the Sanskrit alphabet, and the mantras. Every mantra is a letter of the alphabet. Every letter of the alphabet is a mantra. All the sounds are holy. All of them connect. All of them interact. And so what else can you do? In Zen, it is said that looking for enlightenment is like a fish looking for water.
You're already in it.
And
Yeah.
so, sometimes we know it, but it's not necessary. You do what you do and you get what you get.
So when you get those glimpses like that, and you've seen the map, and then 20 minutes later you can't remember what you saw, what do you do with that?
Record it. Remember it.
That was great.
I can either keep up with it or keep track of it, not both.
Oh, wow.
I hope you're writing all this down, man. I really do. I'm astounded.
Well, I just wanted to ask Bob, do you still use that chanting and the Gyoto Monks style in your present day music?
Yeah, the vocals on Desire are
Okay.
For me that's all overtones, right? So Janis Joplin was just singing overtones when she did a wow, it was like stacking up sounds the same way the monks do. So it took me a couple of years before I went from the kind of thing into putting words to it. So, it's Mr. Saturday Dance, thought they crowded the floor, that kind of.
And
but
this,
in my head, it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's thickness of the voice that I'm looking for. Mr. Saturday Dance. I can do a single tone,
Right.
but isn't that more fun?
Oh yeah, that's way more fun. And
absolutely.
Bob, that I'm like almost speechless. Seriously, like that came naturally. That was just something that you were like, oh, I can imitate the monks, no problem.
Well, yes, it came naturally. Being in a situation of having to follow the monks, and at Shoreline Amphitheater, right. All of a sudden they come on, and Mickey said, I'm going to leave the beam. You keep it rattling along. I'll get the guys out front. They'll start chanting, fade the beam down. Then I'll come up, tap you on the shoulder. I'm going to go get the monks, and you play. Okay. Mm. And then the monks are chanting through the greatest sound system in the world. Uh-huh. 10 monks, 30 voices. Each one of them is singing 3 tones. My socks are rolling up and down. Mm-hmm. PA is blasting, and I'm going, oh, this is that kind of sound. This is the closest thing you've heard to God.
Wow. I can't even imagine what it was like to stand on that stage.
And you're going to follow it with a Japanese synthesizer.
Oh my God. And go. Oh.
Yeah, go. Here's the tap on the shoulder. So
I was panicking, and I knew best not to play from that panic. But there was a big gap from where I was and what was happening on the stage. And so I just started to breathe with them. I said, nobody's going to hear you. It's loud enough. Just chant with them. And a chord came out.
That's transmission as far as I'm concerned. That's the, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm sure you do. That's crazy.
That's when I said, what, this happened to you and you think it's cute?
Right.
You better do something with this. This is a gift.
Wow.
We're done, guys.
Yeah,
There's
that's
nothing
it.
else to
Thanks
say.
for being on the show, gentlemen. And no,
it just sounds like you're. I've never, after 300 episodes, I've never heard anybody using music and sound the way that you two are doing. I like just having you explain it and talking. It doesn't even, it sounds like a whole other language that we're talking about, a whole other purpose that we're talking about than just like, oh yeah, Saturday night was a great concert, guys. Like this is a whole different feeling that I'm getting from you. And honestly, listening to your music, it's like I was listening to it, this whole past week. Well, we were supposed to be doing this, this is our third go around. So I've been listening to it for a while, just trying to, get my ears to understand. And it's so chaotic at times. And then beautiful all of a sudden, and then confusing, and then like there's just so many things that I've experienced through the two of your music that I've really haven't experienced before, and I'm really enchanted by how you're talking about it too, because that just kind of even underscores the feeling that I was getting as I was listening to the music. And I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
Well, we had talked about the like listening to your music too. I'm 53. I've listened to a lot of music, like all of it. It went to places in my brain that have not been accessed. Some of your music, especially on the latest album. Well, the first time I listened to it, I think I told that I put it on, and at first it's like, oh, I can lay down and relax and kind of like almost nap to this. And then,
I love that laugh, Bob.
and then the next thing I know, I'm like eyes wide open, like what is going on? It like scratched itches in my brain I didn't know I had. Kind of like Mel, it made me listen with different ears than I ever had. It's really something special. And I wish, I could imagine this is, like Mel said, you can't take this on the road and duplicate like the album. But the question here is, are you guys going to be going and doing anything like shows with this new album?
So you guys want to know something about Shop Tour Bus?
I do.
So buttons on your
What about it?
They're bringing out these awesome designs.
STB.
They're introducing their latest design, the taper section.
You got to check this out. If you have ever been a taper or known a taper, this is the design that you definitely want to get them or wear if you are that person. Just go to at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram and check out the design. It is fucking amazing. And all the designs that Shop Tour Bus does are incredible, one of a kind, Grateful Dead inspired designs that tell the tale of Grateful Dead song titles in picture. Yes, my brain is still working.
It is.
It is.
You did really good.
It's
ShopTourbus.com to get all of your fun merch, your new hoodie. My favorite new hoodie, My Love is Bigger Than a Cadillac. Thank you, babe. You got me that.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Apple.
And like I say, this is the most comfortable material and everything they do. Their hats, Aaron can attest to that one.
Oh yeah,
it's
my
his
favorite hat ever.
I love wearing their shirts all the time. Their hoodies are the most comfortable. And when you order these don't just come in a boring old brown box from UPS or something like that. You get a custom design box, and it is full of all kinds of goodies.
Yep. So go to shoptourbus.com online or at shoptourbus on Instagram. Put in the promo code No Simple Road, all one word. You are going to get free shipping, and you might even get a Miracle Grateful Dead cassette tape in your box.
STB.
Shoptourbus.com.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil Story Made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
Bob has the long answer.
Yeah, I want the long answer.
We got some things looking possible in Chicago. We've got weekend at Bertha's Music Festival. Looks like it's going to happen in July, and so we're looking at gathering some steam around this.
Oh boy.
It'll be fun. It's always fun.
Yeah.
And another thing about our playing, Tom once, there are these things that I have fallen into with Tom, consciousnesses about the actual playing. And I remember saying to him, I played this whole part, and all I remember is playing it from my shoulders. Whatever was happening below my shoulders, I didn't really worry about. My fingers were finding the notes, my hands were making the right movements, but I had this gesture that was happening from my shoulders. That was the key. And he said, well, he talked about it as playing down the arm. So you're getting closer and closer to the source of the music and letting hands flow. And there are times, which I think we achieved well in this record, where for me, the music is about these very broad gestures being played against each other. And so if you're playing with this kind of broad gesture kind of thing, then you have to be playing on a very kind of big, it's like painting a large canvas. Mm. It's a different kind of thing than looking at a little sketch that's, one line at a time.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, it's often really exciting when we get to this place that we're playing pure gesture. That that the hand is just trusted, and you can feel it. I can feel it when Tom does it, and I can feel it when I do it. On great nights, we do it together. But it's a wonderful, wonderful experience where it's like pure abandon.
It's all in those moments. I imagine it's like there's no yesterday or tomorrow. It's all right now. It's happening. Like the moment is just suspended, and you don't realize that the set has happened. When it's over and you've finished, you lift your hands from the keyboard or whatever, and then everybody cheers. You're like, oh shit, the song's done. I can imagine that. It feels a little like that.
Like when you're performing in front of a live crowd, doing what you two do you forget you're in front of an audience sometimes? I think that would happen, where you get so into the music and then you hear like applause and you're like, oh shit, people are listening.
Their energy is constantly part of our performance.
Okay. Mm. So that's always there.
The locale, everything about the environment where we play influences where we play. We played at an outdoor festival near Mount Shasta. We played the silhouette of the mountains.
Oh, wow.
It gave a shape. It gave a continuity to what we were doing.
So you're like picking up on cues from everything at that point. The people, the mountain, the air, the
barometric pressure.
So there's it almost feels like you're playing a oneness.
That's what I was going to say. This is an expression of the divine at that point.
Well, yes, I suppose so. But, it's also an expression of the dose.
That too. That too. Well, are they separate though?
No.
No.
We don't,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd rather play than talk about that.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's not my department. That's
but we are here to talk. This time you can't play.
That is actually that's the department down the hall, and that door is locked. So yeah. Now
it's therapeutic. Yeah.
Yep. I can imagine like all these years that have gone by, and to be like doing what you're doing now. It has to feel amazing to be able to have this kind of creative freedom and to be working together, this friendship that started all these years ago, and still be doing what you're doing today, and then having people respond to it the way that they do and love it. It's got to feel great, right?
The freedom is what motivates us. It's the lighthouse. It's the star we steer by.
Wow.
There are some folks, and this is fine for them. They're into learning tunes. They're into learning material.
Mm-hmm.
The cabaret singers are like that.
Right.
You can be an expert on every Noel Coward song, and or every Fred Astaire. Pick a name.
Yeah.
Right.
Country of Bill Monroe. And we're sort of stepping back and saying, well, we like all those guys. Well, let me have some of this, throw in some of that. And oh my gosh, isn't it interesting how they interact? Ray Charles has been spoken of as amalgamating country and the blues. Crossover,
Right.
putting it together. And I heard some music from the Tallinn, Estonia Blues Festival.
Okay.
It was like a mix of everywhere. Conversely, I hear Baikontes, West African music, and I hear 12-bar blues. I hear Indian sitar. I hear Moroccan drums, or they might not be Moroccan, but it's close enough for a Moroccan roll.
There's nothing new under the sun, as they say, right?
Yes.
I also think that, we don't try to imitate anything.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's apparent for sure.
All the influences, it's supposed to still sound like us.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a commitment, but it's also a huge liberation.
Huh.
Well, I was just going to ask what was the purpose of this album? Because it sounds like you two are very purposeful men. What was the thought process behind this specific album?
Want to make some music?
It's that simple. I love that.
Okay.
Well, I think within that music too, I want to throw this out there and thank you both, because everybody has a lot going on in their lives all the time. And when we first were starting to set this up and I talked to Dennis, I started listening to the new album. And like I said before, like laying down, listening to this, it takes you, opens places in your minds. It gets you very open to accepting what you guys are doing and listening to the arguments and the conversation. And then when the one song that has some of the lyrics and everything all of a sudden comes into this very open mind that you've made me create through listening to your music, are you happy with what you're doing in your life? And it starts saying that. And this is part of, I even told Aaron Mel about that, as part of what started me on my recent journey. I'm making a lot of changes in my life, employment wise, things like this. But I was so open at that moment when I'm like, no, I'm not. like it got me, you understand what I mean? Like it got me to such an open place, listening with open ears in my mind, that all of a sudden that comes in at the perfect time of like, are you happy with what you're doing with your life? And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to stand up. It's time to make some changes, time to clean house, time to,
Wow, dude. I didn't know that.
It was very therapeutic. And thank you, gentlemen, for that. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's weird how the whole thing's instrumental. And then that part of it, I mean, that really speaks to everybody's heart and everything. Look at yourself. Are you happy with what you're doing?
You try to put out a good vibe, and it can affect different people in different ways. It affects us in different ways.
Yeah.
It's just a question of opening the lamp and letting the magic flow.
Huh. So
I'm honored that it would have that effect on you.
Aw.
Yeah.
I'm totally honored, because, we were doing the tracks and I just grabbed a microphone and I thought, okay, I feel like doing this. These are the words that came out. I think I did 2 takes of it, and that was it.
Well, however that came about, thank
Yeah,
you.
well,
And I hope I imagine there's other people out there probably the same thing, because it takes you to a place where you can't deny yourself or what's going on and how it's made you open up.
if you're paying attention.
If you're paying attention.
Because that's a huge part of all of this is you have to be ready for those kind of experiences. And
yeah. Yes.
But this all like makes me think to ask you, both of you, but Tom first, in the dead community or whatever. A lot of us talk about the, our turn on moment, like when we got introduced to the music and the first time we had any idea of what was going on. And like, well, we have our date. Oh, my first show was 2/10/89 at the LA Forum. Or do you have a memory of the first time that you were blown away by music?
It was like a fade in. Phil and I were introduced to psychedelics from the same batch of LSD cubes.
Mm.
This would have been in 1964.
Okay.
And back then, there wasn't the association so much of concerts with psychedelics. It was more like Eastern religions,
mm-hmm.
philosophies like that, Carlos Castaneda, that sort of thing. And it was a natural flow into the music. I remember the first time I really had a wild time at a show. It was at California Hall, 1966, Grateful Dead and the Charlatans. Owsley was backstage offering samples. I got to the front of the line. He said, "How much do you want?" I said, "How much have you got?" And he said, "More than you can handle." And I said, "That'll be fine." And it was quite an amazing show. And each band did 2 sets alternating. And it just seemed like one continuous sonic light show. There was that other kind of light show also,
mm-hmm.
A disco ball and everything, although we didn't call it disco ball yet. And it was a wild introduction to the possibility that opened.
Yeah. Yes. What about you, Bob? Do you have a moment?
I missed you guys faded out on exactly a moment of what? So
a moment of awe with music, like the first time you realized that music could bring you somewhere.
Yes, and I have to say that was the first time Stevie Wonder invited me to witness him doing an overdub.
Wow.
In the studio.
Really?
Yeah. And it was golden light coming from somewhere, just pouring out of him in sheer joy. And I had almost finished a master's degree in composition and said to myself, this is my first music lesson.
Wow. So you were playing a music for quite a while before you felt that feeling.
Yes. I knew it compelled me. It constantly compelled me. I loved it. I enjoyed it. But when I saw somebody radiating such a profound joy through the music, I knew that there was an energy here that was unlike anything else. Stevie is total genius,
mm-hmm.
fantastic, amazing musician. But it was about Steve. It's all about Stevie, the whole scene.
Wow.
And the Grateful Dead showed me how bright it could be sharing the load, a true band in that way. Now, Stevie always had great bands, always had things, but there were things you had to deliver. There were things, if you didn't get the horns didn't play the right part on Superstition, everybody knew it. If somebody was improvising in the wrong place, everybody knew it. And so it was about streamlining this whole energy of the evening so that Steve could shine, do the thing that he did in that studio for me in a second, that he could do that in front of 20 or 30,000 people. But when the Grateful Dead shared that whole experience of creation and offered a creative influence by the audience itself, by the energy they were providing and willing to make that dance with the audience, it showed me a whole different way of approaching that same light.
Wow.
How, after you saw that Stevie do that, how did that influence your music from then on?
Well, I stayed with Steve for 8 years.
Trying to stay as close as you could.
Going nowhere. Yeah.
I spent 8 years in every studio, every performance, every hotel room he was in, doing all sorts of things. Met all the amazing people from from Paul McCartney to Brian Jones. Not Brian Jones, the Beach Boy,
Brian Wilson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doing all sorts of stuff.
I think you hit on something really fundamental to the Dead and to why the music is so important to so many people. And I think it is that they shared creation with us, that we were as much a part of what was going on stage as they were with what was going on with us. And I never heard it put like that, the way you just said it, and that you just like made something click in my head. That's really amazing.
Both of you have a way of saying things that obvious. The three of us, I don't think we've ever had a conversation where we've looked at each other so many times we're quiet. It's hard to respond.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah. You two gentlemen are something special. So special. And I love how you were saying, Bob, Tom's got the cosmic and you're a little bit more on the grounded side, putting that together. But both of you are, I feel, equally cosmic and equally incredible musicians. And what a great relationship that we get to hear the interplay of. And I just want to thank you so much for taking us to school today with seriously, like,
for real.
I really didn't have too much to say. I'm going to have way more to ask after this conversation, after I digest what was said, than in the moment, because I'm really in awe of just the vast knowledge that you have of the spiritual and the language aspect of the musicianship that you share. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this to both of you. The Grateful Dead and the music that you both helped create gave me a family. It completely altered the course of my teenage life and my adult life. It has offered us this show. It's given us the opportunity to talk to people like you guys. And
it's kept us both alive.
It's kept
we
us
have
both
both
alive.
said that the music saved our lives at bad times back in the 80s.
And I just want to say thank you to both of you. Bob, you were working with the band when I came in, so you are directly responsible for saving my life, man. So thank you.
I apologize to your parents.
Yeah, they're really happy.
Great response.
Yeah. And so, gentlemen, if folks want to buy are you doing vinyl or anything with this, or is this all just streaming?
Oh, no, there's CDs. Amazon has a CD.
All right. So folks can go to Amazon and pick it up. It's Dos Hermanos.
Yes, DOSE.
Of course, DOSE. We would have it no other way. Thanks, you guys. Seriously. A lot of gratitude.
Also, like we always do at these ones too, great debt of gratitude to Dennis McNally. Dennis has been obviously a champion of this community and this world we live in. And Dennis was very excited, as we were, to sit down and talk to you guys. That's a heck of a man there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get publicists like that.
No.
He's just masterful of history of the music itself. He understands so much depth, and he's understands where the people who are going to connect are for us.
Yeah, he'll send us stuff sometimes, and I'm like, I've never heard of that. And I'll bring it to them and I'll be like, well, Dennis sent it to us. Let's do it. And it always turns out like to be one of these every time. Like, okay. trust you no matter what from now on, man.
Yeah, life lessons.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you for spending time with us today. And everybody out there, go check this out because it's not your average bear.
And Bob, you mentioned that you're going to be playing. When does that start? Is it like summertime, or do you have any dates coming up?
Yes, there might be something in. Well, I don't know. Tom's got some gigs that might conflict with the Chicago thing, so that could be happening March, April.
Okay.
Tom,
late April.
Tom, where are you going to be playing?
We have details to work out. The last several years, I've been touring with Live Dead 69. Mark Karen, Slick Oscar, and we're going back to England again in April. This will be our 5th trip there. I'm proud of myself that I said that in the first try.
You're doing great, man. Just keep it up.
I'm sure this will work out, even if I have to fly from London to Chicago, because this is too good a fire not to fan the flames of.
I would agree with that 100%.
Absolutely.
If I would hope that I get to see you guys do your thing.
Yes.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for spending time with us. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Aaron, Apple, thank you.
Take care, Bob. Okay.
I want a do-over of that interview only because I feel like now that I know them, now I need to ask other stuff.
Well, like
not
you
fair.
said,
you know what I mean? Like it feels
I'm sure they would be up for it, and we command. This one would be fun to go back to again, like a few months.
It would be cool to get them one at a time.
Do you know what I'm saying? You know why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get to talk because my jaw was too far on the ground.
I think it's okay.
And then-
I really do.
No,
I feel like that's.
I don't think it was bad or good or anything. I don't mean it like that. I just mean like I wanted to participate more, but I was so in awe of what they were saying.
And I feel like that's their. Hang on. I feel like that's their MO. Like, think about the music that they're creating.
Yeah, mic drop over and over.
It's that space, and so obviously they're bringing that space. You're not supposed to talk in that space.
No.
It's moments.
That's what Mel just said. The mic drop thing. Like we each come, and especially you had some long form questions, and then their answer was so poignant in like one sentence, answered it beyond what a 5-minute answer got. Like boom, and we're just sitting here going,
well, those are. Look,
well-versed gentlemen in this world.
Thank you. Yeah, those are pranksters.
Yeah,
hardcore.
The look that they both have when they answer things, and then wow, guys.
You know,
makes sense. This is like especially like with Bob, the man kind of like the Wizard of Oz, like the man behind the curtain back there working things, and
it just doesn't. I'm floored, first of all, but it's amazing to me. The older I get and the more it unfolds my life with the Grateful Dead and the people that are behind the scenes of the Dead. Like now we've had the opportunity to like talk to Donna and to Bob and to TC and to have just a little glimpse into the hearts of the people that created the thing, right?
That were part of the mechanic.
And now it makes so much more sense. So much more sense.
Like what Bob just said when he was talking about his moment with Stevie Wonder, and then to see that with the Grateful Dead with the same thing, but sharing that load.
That
like holy crap.
That's what we were doing. That's how but when he said that, I was like, oh, that's it. Like all these years I've been trying to figure it out, and there it was. Just
music organizes itself? What? Like, I can't even.
What? I mean, look, for all of you listening, I hope you understand that like That was.
I hope this came across.
Yeah, that was not a normal interview. All right,
No.
the three of us were completely floored,
looking
for
at
that
each other like,
entire interview. All right, and it wasn't like it had nothing to do with starstruck. It wasn't like that. It was there was an energy here. For real, for real. That's a thing.
I felt like we were their instruments and they were playing us.
Yeah.
And they knew it.
They
With
just
the
played
slide,
No
with the
Simple
slide,
Rules.
with the
That's what I
sly
feel
smile.
like. To
And
never
they-
have felt like this in my whole life after an interview at
Me
all.
either.
No, this
No.
interview did the same thing that their music and everything did to me. Like that I shared about that really hit me hard.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
That was
that's-
like a month and a half ago. Well, because I was still processing it, and this kind of helped to bring full circle. I didn't quite really. That was really a catapult into like, because that's seriously, you have to listen to their music. You got to listen to it. You can't put it on in the
No.
background and be
No.
wandering in and
You
out
have
of
to
the
be
room.
interactive with it.
You need to be like an audience member, completely listening to every note and being open to it.
It's a good.
Sometimes it's not quite pleasing on the ears, but then it does become like it's
what I was
alive.
saying.
It's alive. It's 100% improvisational, and the music is alive, and it opens things up in you that all of a sudden, and then when that hit, hearing Bob say that now too, he like that's what I wanted to know. And they answered questions without us asking them sometimes, because he immediately was like glad it worked, because that we're playing, and all of a sudden that just came to me. I need to say this. And that's the words that came out of my mouth.
There will be those that would be like, well, why didn't you ask more questions about their time with the Grateful Dead or it's to stories? And look,
they're beyond that.
Yeah,
that Grateful Dead was like kindergarten for them.
Well, not just that. I wouldn't say that, but like
I would, because think about how far everybody remembers their kindergarten teacher
I
was a
think it
huge
was more
pivotal thing in their life, but they have taken what they did with the Dead and created an entire new thing. Like there's Grateful Dead, and then there's what they're doing right now.
And then they did create this came about in 95, not too long after Jerry passed, the two of them sitting down and composing together for the first time. When the music stopped, when Jerry passed, they were wanting to do something, and it was like, what would Jerry do? Continue playing. And then they came together at that point and started with everything they'd learned, like kind of going to the Grateful Dead school of music. They then were like, okay, now it's us. Let's take all that
and do our
thing.
Do
this.
You couldn't do that with that interview. You couldn't go in there and it would have.
Yeah, tell me about the 70 with yeah.
What was it like?
You don't talk to somebody about their first wife when they're on their third wife. You don't do that.
Yeah, and when this was about them and us wanting you to encourage you to go listen to they have this new album, but that this is their third album, which spans over from 95 to now, 3 albums. So the middle one, you can go on YouTube. I think it's on stream where they do it live. There's a live recording of that. I wanted to ask them about that, but that's not what this is about. You can read that. It was very hard for them to find a place where there was 2 grand pianos that they could put like face to face. And I forget what university it is, but they found it. They had to get them to move one of the grand pianos from one side of the campus to where the other one was. It was like a big undertaking to make this happen so they could do it live. Kind of like almost not dueling, but like 2 grand pianos having a conversation, debate, argument like they do. And it is amazing.
Yeah, man.
You need to listen to that as well.
Although I will say this, forever now I'm going to have the picture in my head of Tom Constanten telling Owsley, how much acid do you have?
Too much for you. Well, I'll take less than that.
I'll take that. Yeah, good luck. I mean, and that we barely got the taste of any of that stuff, and that shit would make you see air.
Oh yeah, Yeah, and then I mean, you can all go do the same thing like I did. We did like research, and there's a lot of stories out there about Tom and his. By the time he had joined the Grateful Dead, he wasn't doing psychedelics anymore.
Yeah.
He had already gone to that school, and him and Phil were very close. They were roommates in college and stuff. There's a lot of very interesting pre-Dead history with TC and Phil and the band.
Dennis, I remember when we set this up with Dennis, I was like, he's like, do you want one or both? And I was like, look, I'll leave it up to you. I don't know. Maybe one. If we were going to do one, which one would you suggest? And he's like, well, Bob's a great storyteller, but TC's a character. And
I'm glad this. Everything we do has a purpose, has a reason. It ended up because at first it was going to be just TC the first time.
Yeah.
These two operate very well together and play off of each other very well in life and musically. I'm glad it was both of them.
Could you imagine having a partner that you're so tight with that you can create things to happen in the world, like by? Yeah,
I can.
It's
Mel.
Yeah, I can too, but it's
totally
what
can.
they've got going on is something special.
Yeah, you guys got a little more up and
It's different. I don't mean like what we're doing. I mean like it's just what I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm just gonna bow out of this conversation and just be like, dang guys, you killed it. And that's it.
This is one we're gonna be milling over in our minds.
I don't get nervous before interviews much anymore. I got nervous in the middle of that interview. Like, holy shit. You could feel it, like thrumming energy. It wasn't nervousness, like scared. It was like you could feel the vibe, like walking off a cliff kind of thing.
There was not uncomfortable silences. To me, there was comfortable silences.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to
like
shut the fuck up.
Stopping and letting that answer digest.
Yeah. I'm not just going to
into the next question.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. It's
you just
like,
told
holy
me that,
shit.
that you got a transmission from the Gyoto Monks on stage. Okay, cool. So anyway, tell me about when you hung out with Jerry that one time. Anyway,
wow, everybody.
Yeah. Welcome to our world, everybody. Love you guys. We'll be back on Monday with more stuff and things. Until then, smile at a stranger and safety third and hydrate.
Pet a cat.
Yeah, do that. And you know what? Maybe you can get a transmission.
Listen to Dos Hermanos and open your mind. Hand your mind over to Bob and TC for a little while.
It's safe. You'll dig it.
Yep.
We love you guys. Peace.
Mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.